Hello, hi, my name is Jess Marie. Welcome to Yesterday's Coffee Grounds, where I reflect on experiences of my life and how I've learned from those experiences and how I can share what I've learned to other people. And this is a topic that I might actually get emotional about, and I'm hoping I can hold it together. You can hear I'm still a little bit stuffy with the weather change, and also because I was trying not to cry because I didn't want a red nose and puffy eyes, even though I already kind of have puffy eyes, but that's okay. So this is for anyone who is under the age of 15 who feel like they don't belong, and for people who are over that age, 20, 18 even, 18, 20, 30 years old, what we can do to support these younger people, because this is actually something, labeling a small human as something that may stick with them forever, because it is so important how we talk to our young people, how we support them when kids are in elementary school. Especially, it is so important to love and to nurture these kids, because they are being conditioned to be something that they are not. They are being trained, if you will. Also, apologize for my hands, they are stained, but I just need to acknowledge that. They're being trained to be something that they're not. And I was a kid at 8 years old. I learned what the word defiant was. I had a teacher spell it out on the board, ask me, do you know what this word means? And I said no. And she had explained defiant is when you do not listen to the rules, and you intentionally go against the standards that are being set within the classroom setting specifically, or the school environment specifically. So imagine being 8 years old and being told that you were defiant. So from an 8-year-old brain, what the brain does, and right now I see it happening quite often with labeling small kids as ADHD. Hey, you have a problem sitting in a desk. You have a problem with your energy. You are too explosive. You're too dynamic for the classroom setting. Okay, instead of adjusting our school system to educate all different kinds of humans, what we do is we try to conform them and morph them to sit in a desk, be training them to sit in a desk so that one day they can sit at a computer or sit in an office space, sit somewhere for 8 hours, punch in, get their paycheck so they can pay for a mortgage that they can't afford, pay for a car that they can't afford, because that's what life is telling us to do. Most of us do not fit in this box. So then when we graduate, when we're in their 18th year, we've graduated college or graduated high school, maybe we go off to college, maybe we're working a job, and we don't know who we are, we don't know what we're doing, because all we've been taught is how to conform. And maybe things are a little bit different since I went to elementary school, but I was embarrassed in school. I was pulled out of my classroom in school, publicly embarrassed. Jess Polson, come to the office. Publicly embarrassed, labeled as the kid who doesn't listen, labeled as a troublemaker, being put in a spot of punishment. I was pinned against a wall one time because I was not listening. And I had a teacher put her hands against my arms, pinning me against the wall. I remember this so clearly, telling me that it is in her right to do this. She has the right to restrain me. We're talking about a grown adult and somebody who is 8. We're talking about a position of power and something that has shaped me for my entire life. And I'm sure this has happened in more severe cases to other kids, but that seriously affected me for my entire life. Not knowing, okay, am I really this expressive? Am I too much for people? Because I did have a tendency. I would have been a lone wolf. I am a child of divorce. So my parents growing up were arguing a lot. They both worked. When they got home, it was like dinner, bedtime, and then they would have their arguments, and this is not to disrespect or anything against my parents. I won't get into detail too much about it, but it is a factor where A lot of families are split families, so this is a mechanism, a coping mechanism of children of divorce or children of separation, where we have a tendency to be extra loud, to be peacocks trying to call for that attention because we are suffering. We need that. We need that affirmation that we're doing good, that we are beautiful, creative humans. And that's why I say people who are above the age of 15, a little bit older, 20, 30, 40, it is so important for us to see that child who is annoying. Yes, probably annoying, probably has insane topics of conversation, such a wide vast of conversation, but it's because you think from a rational 25-year-old brain, it's like, yeah, you're just talking, and it doesn't really make sense. But from a 7-year-old brain, that kid is trying to figure out the mechanics of the brain and how it processes information, how it compartmentalizes information. And as somebody who's older and who has gone through that, nurturing those misfits, nurturing those kids who scare the other kids away because they are too annoying and made to feel like they don't belong. And honestly, it's such a catch-22 because kids are jerks. I've babysat enough times. I know that kids are jerks, and I now have a 2-year-old who goes to the playground, to the park, and it's like, even at 5 years old, you know, we're still learning impulse control at that age. But even when we're talking like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, kids are jerks. And it's like, okay, is this a nature versus nurture thing? Is this just the nature of a small human where they're learning impulse control, learning how to communicate, learning from the environment? Okay, if I say these things to this person, how are they going to respond? And then we talk about the nurture aspect. Okay, are they just repeating what they see in their household? Are they repeating what they hear on a daily, weekly basis in their household? What is going on here? And it's hard not to blame the small children for the way that they are. If we're talking about ignorance or rudeness or meanness, bullies, being bullied at such a young age, where do they get that from? Where do they get that energy from? And are we teaching that? Or are we just having a pink shirt day and calling it good? People who are active bullies wearing a pink shirt, girls, cliques of girls who are active bullies, and they're all wearing their pink, trying to support the day. Moms or parents who are raising kids who are really ignorant and rude, and they're like, anti-bullying day, and we're gonna wear our pink shirt. And it's like, yes, but do you not see the small human that you are raising? Do you not see the role model that you are to this small human, right? And it's something that we're all learning. We're all learning on a daily basis. That I don't want to. It's very important to hold somebody accountable without making them feel like what they're doing is wrong, because there's no guidebook. There's no. It's just all human experience, right? So being someone, myself, I was both the bully and I was bullied. And hurt people, right? And I spent so much of my life believing that I was defiant and living by that title and acknowledging that is part of my life. That is part of my character trait. And it's because, one, I'm not meant to be in one spot. I am not meant for that. That is not my creative purpose in life. I am somebody, I break the mold, and I try to, and then I suppress that because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's too much. I'm not going to get anywhere. I'm receiving a lot of backlash for going against the norm and not conforming, essentially. And I think back to when I was that young, and I think of the small humans that I've interacted with over the years and who they are. And you've probably met a little person in your life or walking or seen it in the grocery store, something like that. That kid where it's like, man, you are so annoying. Those are the ones you want to nurture. You want to nurture those kids so much, those souls so much, affirm them so much. And I'm saying that from somebody who was not affirmed, who was not was not supported a lot of the times. Until I was in grade 4, I met my best friend, and her mom made me feel so wanted. And she allowed me, this is no disrespect to my parents or anything like that. They were both working. They both had their own traumas that they were dealing with. But this lady, Andrea, she did so much for us. She gave us so many opportunities to play and be creative. And I remember constantly building forts and playing outside and riding our bikes and then cleaning our bikes and getting into mischief. But it was all kind of like silly stuff. Like there was a pond in the backyard and we weren't supposed to really go there because it wasn't safe, but the grass was long, so we'd go, and there was a boat, so we'd like a tin boat, and we'd go and we'd catch tadpoles, and sometimes we'd fall in and we'd sneak into the back of the house to try to get our clothes dry and our hair dry so that she didn't know that we were playing in the pond and we were told not to. And just like mischief like that, sometimes a little bit more but I'm saying this as somebody who scared off a lot of people when I was younger because I was looking for that attention, looking for that affirmation. It took me a long time to learn, and now I battle with my identity of finding this balance of calmness and excitement. And I've had a really hard time with this balance over the years because of this conformity that I was subjected to. This is part of the reason I'm really passionate of wanting to homeschool my son, because I don't want him to go through what I went through, and I don't want him to, I want to nurture who he is as a creative young human, as a 2-year-old, right? I want him to be a 2-year-old. I want him to be a 5-year-old. I want him to be an 8-year-old. I don't want him to be told that he is defiant because he wants to go out and play and exercise and learn in nature than to be told you are defying the rules because we want you to sit in a desk and listen to what we tell you and practice your cursive writing. And when you get good enough, you can use a pen instead of a pencil because you won't have to erase any of your work. That is your goal. That is what you're working towards. No, my goal is to see if I can stick all these sticks into the ground and make a little shelter, and see if I can use cedar branches to make a roof. That is my goal for the day. That's what I want to do for the day. And if I don't do it today, I'm going to finish it tomorrow. That is something I want for my son so bad. And I want for all these creative little beings. And I know it's not a reality for so many parents out there to homeschool, but it is so important. It is so important that if you don't have that opportunity to nourish and nurture these kids who are expressive, who feel like they don't belong because they are made to feel like they are different based on society standards, whatever it may be. Yeah, I'm glad I got through that because I was feeling a little bit emotional just reflecting on what happened to me and some of the trauma that I experienced. And yeah, I feel a little bit better just being able to release that. So my name is Jess Marie. Not to tell you what to do, but I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and thank you for listening. Bye.